65 with Dorado, and we are at the beautiful Chattahoochee Hills, or Chat Hills. This is actually going to be where the tip challenge makeover will be held, but this facility also hosts other competitions, so 3-day eventing, and you can also come cross-country schooling. So I had a fair amount of horses that needed a good cross-country school. And so you see I have Dorado out in the field, and we're just warming up a little bit. And I've got Amanda Moritz, who's doing a little bit of the filming for me. She's on Fledge, so you'll see Fledge's ears every now and then. So after I warmed him up, then we started to jump a couple of the small fences. They seem to be really good. You saw a little earlier, he's starting to figure out his lead changes, although he's still a little late behind, but I was pretty happy with how he's feeling. In the these two jumps were the beginner novice height, and so then when I came around to this one, he wasn't quite sure about that with the wings going off the side. So I just kind of let him look at it, and he was very willing to jump it. So he feels very willing. Oftentimes with the green horses, if you just give them the chance and just let them look at it, then they're willing to give it a try. So you see he's trying to be a little drifty here, but I wanted to kind of canter him up, kind of play around with the terrain. There's a nice mound up here, and he handled that pretty well. And then there's a couple of nice shaded bridges that we got to go through, which was pretty fun. And then after we jumped a couple more jumps, we headed over to the ditch, which Dorado wasn't necessarily a fan of, so we followed Sarah and her young horse. So you see he stopped right there. You can't really see because there's a bush kind of in the way. But I'm just asking him to go forward. And then he kind of gives me a little bit of resistance right there. So I'm just trying to keep him straight towards the ditch, not trying to pull back. And then he was able to go over the ditch. And then we went and popped a couple other jumps. I was really happy with how he was doing. Again, he gave me some resistance for the ditch, but then once he jumped it, he did really well over it. So it was just a learning process for him. And this is normally a water complex that has some water in it, so it's good practice, kind of the change in coloring. And then that jump that he just jumped was novice level. Next, we headed to a combination of fences called a coffin. And now he jumps over the ditch great. And then this was actually a fairly narrow fence, and I was really proud of how he handled that. And then I finished up over the last kind of water complex. So you see he kind of didn't quite understand, so I let him have a peek at it and came right back around. And then he was very willing the second time, a little wiggly, but he figured it out. I was very proud of him. He seemed to really enjoy the cross country, and then we finished up with a little trail ride back to the barn. I was really proud of Dorado. Again, he did some really good schooling, and he had a really good day.